Well, good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Philosophical Musing here on the Idahoan Show. So lately I've been thinking about how, on the one hand, the Old Testament makes it pretty clear that laziness is a sin. If you've got any doubts about that, just read the book of Proverbs. On the other hand, the New Testament makes it pretty clear that we're to be contented with whatever situation we find ourselves in. Malcontent is a sin. We're to be joyful and thankful in all circumstances. So, how can you be content without being lazy? I mean, if you're totally satisfied with how things are, what motive do you have for doing anything, really? And the conclusion I've come to is that the missing link here is ambition. And what I mean by that is that God has given all of us resources and opportunities. Now, He certainly hasn't given us all the same resources or the same opportunities, but He's given all of us resources and opportunities. And true, wholesome Christian ambition consists of recognizing that we have everything that we need, and so we're going to glorify God by making the best possible use of everything that He's given us. And that mentality seems to be wholly contrary to human nature. Human nature seems to be that either I feel like I have unmet needs, and so I'm going to work desperately to satisfy these perceived needs, or if I do feel like my needs are met, then I'm just going to kick back and relax. Both of which are ultimately insulting to God, at least for someone who identifies as a Christian, because on the one hand, I'm denying the sufficiency of His providence, and on the other hand, I'm kind of taking it for granted. And so that leads us back to the importance of cultivating a mindset of Christian ambition, of doing what we can just because we can, not because we have to, or more precisely, of glorifying God by making the best possible use of the resources and opportunities that He's given us, instead of only doing what we feel that we have to, whether we perceive that to be a little or a lot. And sometimes the difference outwardly can be pretty subtle. I mean, maybe I'm building a greenhouse for my wife. Well, am I doing it because I have to, because she needs it, because we need it, because I need to do it in order to earn her favor for something? Or am I doing it as a way to glorify God by showing my love for my wife and constructing a piece of infrastructure that will allow her to further glorify God by exercising the talents that He's given her in gardening, etc. Either way, a greenhouse gets built. But there's a world of difference between the two mentalities in terms of how I approach it, and that difference will ultimately be reflected in the workmanship. And I will admit that I am as guilty as the next man of bouncing back and forth between these natural sinful states of malcontent on the one hand and laziness on the other. I don't always approach projects with the right attitude, especially the more mundane home improvement projects. It's sometimes hard for me to see them as the opportunities that they are, as opposed to seeing them just as necessities. But it's something I'm working on, something I've been thinking about, something I thought I'd share with you today, and until next time, thank you for watching The Idahoan Show.